breathe too deeply. If you do, the thick, cloying stench of boiling tallow, rotting fish guts, and human waste will settle in the back of your throat like a physical weight. A taste you will not be able to spit out for days. Stay close to the timber-framed walls of the houses, but watch the overhangs above. The jettied upper stories lean so far over the narrow street that they almost touch, blotting out the gray London sky and leaving you in a permanent, damp twilight. Listen. Beneath the shouting of the street hawkers and the rhythmic ringing of the blacksmith's hammer, there is a constant, wet sound, the splashing of hooves and boots in the kennel. The central gutter where everything the city rejects flows in a sluggish, black stream toward the Thames. You are here now. You are a soul among 40,000, trapped within the crumbling Roman walls of London. The mud beneath your thin leather soles is cold and deceptive. It is not merely earth. It is a fermented slurry of straw, animal dung, and the offal of 1,000 butcher shops. As you push past a group of friars in their coarse wool habits, the air grows even heavier. To your left, a skinner is scraping a fresh hide, the metallic tang of blood mixing with the acrid smoke of sea coal fires that stings your eyes. This is the pulse of the greatest city in England, a place that never sleeps and never cleanses itself. It is a city of bells. St. Paul's Cathedral looms somewhere to the west, its massive spire piercing the low clouds, and its bells govern your life. They tell you when to pray, when the markets open, and when the gates will be barred against the dangers of the night. Walk with me toward Cheapside. Here, the chaos intensifies. The social hierarchy is etched into every face you pass. See the merchant in his long tunic of fine Flemish cloth, dyed a deep, expensive madder red. He walks with a purpose, his purse heavy with silver groats, followed by a shivering apprentice carrying bolts of silk. He does not look at the beggar slumped against the stone plinth of the market cross, whose legs are wrapped in filthy linen to hide the sores of a hard life. In London, poverty is not hidden, it is stepped over. The noise here is deafening. Hot peascods, ripe strawberries, the women cry, their voices shrill to cut through the din of iron-rimmed cartwheels grinding against the cobblestones. You are jostled, shoved, and ignored. You must move with the flow of the crowd, or you will be trampled. We turn down a narrow alleyway, barely wide enough for a man to walk with his arms outstretched. The light fails here. The buildings are timber and wattle and daub, plastered with lime that is turning gray with soot. You can hear the sounds of domestic life spilling out from the unglazed windows, a mother scolding a child, the rhythmic thump of a loom, a cough that sounds wet and deep. Above you, a shutter bangs open. Move. Quickly. A woman empties a chamber pot into the street below with a shout of, "Gardez-l'eau." The liquid splashes into the kennel, adding to the miasma rising from the ground. Sanitation is a dream. Reality is the raker's cart that comes too rarely to shovel the filth away. We make our way toward the river, the lifeblood of this city. The Thames is not blue, it is a churning brown highway, crowded with wherries and barges. The air here smells of salt and tar, a welcome relief from the stagnation of the alleys. Look at London Bridge. It is not just a bridge. It is a street across the water, lined with shops and houses that shudder every time the tide rushes through the narrow arches below. Lift your eyes to the gatehouse at the southern end. Do you see them? The black shapes against the sky? They are heads. Traitors' heads dipped in tar to preserve them, impaled on spikes. The birds pick at them. It is a brutal reminder of the king's justice. In this century, law is a spectacle of pain. You do not cross the king and you do not cross the powerful guilds. Hunger begins to gnaw at your stomach. It is the constant companion of the commoner. You find a cook shop near the riverbank. The air is thick with the scent of roasting meat, but that is not for you. That is for the travelers and the merchants. For a farthing, you buy a bowl of pottage, a thick gray stew of oats, peas, and perhaps a scrap of bacon fat if the cook was feeling generous. You eat it standing up, guarding your bowl. Around you, men speak of the war in France. They talk of King Edward and the Black Prince, of longbows and glorious victories at Crécy. But here glory puts no bread on the table. The taxes rise to pay for the arrows, and the price of grain fluctuates with every bad harvest. Life is a balance on a knife's edge. One wet summer, one rotting crop, and the city starves. As the afternoon wears on, the atmosphere in the city shifts. The shadows lengthen and the great gates of the city, Ludgate, Newgate, Aldgate, prepare to close. The curfew bell rings. Couvre-feu, cover your fire. This is not a suggestion, it is a law. Fire is the dragon that sleeps beneath London. With houses packed so tight, built of dry wood and straw, a single spark can turn a ward into an inferno. You see people rushing to finish their business, blowing out candles, banking their hearths. The darkness that falls over medieval London is absolute. There are no street lamps, only the occasional torch of the night watch. To be out after curfew is to invite disaster. The streets belong to the footpads, the cut-purses, and the desperate. Violence is casual and quick. A knife in the ribs for a purse of copper coins is a common trade. We retreat to a tavern as the sun vanishes. Inside, the air is hazy with smoke and the smell of ale. The rushes on the floor are old, hiding bones and refuse from weeks past. Men are gambling with dice, their faces illuminated by the flickering tallow dips. The ale is thick and weak, but it is safer than the water. You drink, listening to the gossip. They talk of a sickness in the east. Rumors from the docks, sailors coming from Gascony and Italy telling tales of a great dying. Cities entirely emptied. But that is far away. London is eternal. London is invincible. Or so it seems. Time moves forward, heavy and slow. The year turns to 1348. The rains have been heavy. The harvest was poor. But something else has arrived. It came on the ships, carried in the fur of rats, in the fleas that bite the ankles of the dock workers. At first, it was just a whisper. A few deaths in the tenements near the river, but now the whisper has become a scream. Walk with me now through these same streets. Just a few months later, the noise is gone. The blacksmith's hammer is silent. The hawkers do not cry out. The only sound is the tolling of the bells, a relentless, mournful rhythm that never seems to stop. The air smells different now. The scent of roasting meat and wood smoke is overpowered by the sharp, stinging odor of vinegar and burning rosemary. People clutch posies of herbs to their noses, breathing through them, terrified of the air itself. They believe the pestilence rides on the wind, a poisonous mist sent by God to punish a sinful world. Look at the houses. On door after door you see the mark, a rough cross painted in red or black. Lord, have mercy upon us. The doors are barred from the outside. Inside those dark rooms, whole families are dying. The disease is swift and hideous. It starts with a headache, a fever, a shivering that cannot be tamed. Then come the swellings, the buboes, black hard lumps in the armpit or the groin, agonizing to the touch. Then the dark spots on the skin. God's tokens. Once they appear, death is hours away. You see a cart rumbling down the cobblestones. It is not carrying wool or grain. It is piled high with bodies wrapped in crude shrouds, or sometimes just naked pale limbs tangling together. There is no dignity left. The graveyards are full. The hallowed ground of the parish churches is bursting. The earth mounded high with the dead. Now they dig great pits at Smithfield, long trenches in the clay. You watch from a distance as they tip the cart. Men, women, children, thrown in like refuse. The priest stands at the edge, his voice hoarse, reciting the rites for 100 souls at once. He keeps his distance. He knows that to breathe the breath of the dying is to join them. Fear has broken the city. The bonds of society, so rigid and clear before, have snapped. Parents abandon children. Husbands leave wives. The rich have fled to the countryside, hoping the clean air will save them. But the death follows them there too. The poor are left to die in the straw. The shops are looted not by criminals but by starving neighbors. There is no bread. The millers are dead. The bakers are dead. The farmers who bring the grain are dead. Enter a house with me. The door's ajar. The watchman has long since fled. The silence inside is heavy. A single candle burns low. In the corner, on a pallet, lies a master craftsman. His tools are scattered on the floor, useless now. His face is a mask of agony, his eyes wide and unseeing. He is alone. His apprentices, his wife, his children, all gone. The wealth he spent a lifetime accumulating is in a chest at the foot of his bed, and it means nothing. The rat that scuttles across the floorboards is the new master of this house. The terror is spiritual as much as physical. People believe this is the end of days. You see a procession winding through the muddy street, men stripped to the waist, lashing themselves with whips, blood running down their backs. Flagellants. They chant, begging God to lift the curse, to accept their pain as penance for the city's sins. But the sky remains gray and indifferent. The rain continues to fall, washing the blood and the filth into the river, but it cannot wash away the sickness. Winter approaches. The cold should kill the pestilence, but the dying continues. The city is a ghost of itself. Half the windows you pass are dark. The great commercial engine of London has stalled. The wool sits rotting in the warehouses. The ships bob aimlessly at anchor, their crews dead in the forecastle. Yet, amid the horror, there are flickers of humanity. A nun washing the face of a dying orphan, knowing she will likely be next. A brother burying his sister with his own hands because no gravedigger is left. These small acts go unrecorded, lost in the overwhelming tide of death. As you stand on the banks of the Thames looking back at the city, the silence is what stays with you. The bells have stopped ringing because there is no one left to ring them. The smoke from the fires has thinned. London still stands, the stone walls, the timber frames, the bridge, but its soul has been hollowed out. It is a city of survivors, traumatized and scarred, walking among ghosts. The sun begins to set, casting a blood-red light over the water. You feel the chill of the evening mist. It seeps into your bones. This world, this moment in time, feels eternal and solid when you are in it. The stone feels permanent. The customs feel unchangeable. But you have seen how quickly it can all unravel. You have seen how fragile the veneer of civilization truly is. A microbe invisible to the naked eye brought the greatest city on earth to its knees, silencing the markets and emptying the cathedrals. The darkness closes in completely now. The river flows on, indifferent to the suffering on its banks, carrying the history of this place out to the sea. You are left standing in the cold mud, the smell of wet ash and sorrow in the air, bearing witness to a world that burned and bled, and yet, somehow, kept turning. The night is here, and in the silence of the medieval dark, you realize that survival is not a guarantee. It is a miracle.